So a lot of people will be asking me, الحين أنتِ neurosurgeon, what are you doing at the Dubai Future Accelerators? دكتورة جراحة أعصاب. شو اللي يخليك أنتِ بمسرعات المستقبل? That's actually a very funny story. And I remember when I was a medical student, I always used to sit and basically try to improve on a process or anything. Any single thing. And my friends would tell me, Aliyah, please don't waste your time. Go and study some physiology, some anatomy, whatever you want. I graduated from medical school and I went into the internship phase. And then an opportunity happened. What happened is that I got to be a presenter on TV. Being a presenter on TV, it basically means that I have to be present every single Friday, giving a medical segment to the audience. What's funny is that we have on-calls. Does anyone of you know what an on-call is? Al-khafara. Do you know what an on-call is? You do? Shout if you have. Just raise your hands if you know what an on-call is. Great. Super. So basically, a doctor is mandated to have around 7 to 8 on-calls per month. And it has to be sometimes during a Friday. So what I used to do is I used to swap with my friends and I tell them, you know what? The other day is going to be a public holiday. So why not, you take my Friday and I'll take that public holiday for you to enjoy. And so on. And I moved forward. And I went into the residency phase and I went into neurosurgery, drilling onto skulls and, managing patients. I remember I was sitting in my flat in France, in Paris, and I was discussing this with my cousin. My cousin's name is Sarah. So I was telling her, you know what, in the medical field there are a lot of amazing individuals that are really not highlighted. We always hear about engineers, we always hear about influencers, we always hear about, amazing people in very different disciplines, but we don't really hear much about people into the medical industry. Does any one of you know Dr. Aisha Al-Ma'mari? Anyone? Okay. So Dr. Aisha Al-Ma'mari is a consultant in emergency medicine, and she's the one who initiated Mini Medical School. And what Mini Medical School is all about, community medicine, teaching the public all about medicine and how to deal with diseases. And she's as well a very ambitious adventurer. She goes and hikes at mountains. So what we did is that I went to Sarah and I was like, you know what? Why not get pioneers in healthcare? Not necessarily doctors, we'll get physicians. We'll get health allied professionals. We'll get inventors. We'll get patients to speak. We'll get volunteers. And so that happened. On the 31st of January this year, we got people to speak about their illnesses. And I remember Abdullah stood on stage and he talked about his multiple sclerosis. Does any one of you know what multiple sclerosis is? You do know, right? It's a very common now disease, right? Okay. So he stood and he talked about this. Farah al-Qaysiyya as well stood on stage and she talked about her stuttering problem and how she overcame that. People talked about their inventions and how they came about, they overcome so many challenges that were headed their way. And this has inspired many younger generations. When I went back home and my friends were talking to me, they were like, Aliyah, you don't think that you've wasted a bit of your time? I mean, you're a neurosurgeon. Why are you doing these events? And they're not going to be with any benefit to you. After 2 months, I had another presentation to be given in front of consultants, all of the consultants in the UAE. And I was like, you know what, I'll just talk about Health Inspire and I'll talk about how we want to put the pioneers in healthcare up front. And on this day, on the 19th of March 2016, it was a day of transition. And what happened is that one of the doctors who were working at the Organizational Transformation Office at the Dubai Health Authority, and I'll explain to you exactly what it is, he came and he approached me and he was like, Aliyah, so what is your background? What do you do? And I was like, I'm a physician. And he was like, you're a physician? And I go like, yes. And where do you work at? And I told him I worked at the Dubai Health Authority. And he was like, so great, you work with us and I haven't heard of you? I was like, there are many other people you haven't heard of. They're amazing. So what happened is that 2 weeks later, I was transitioned and I went into the Organizational Transformation Office. Have you guys heard about the Dubai Health 2016-2021 Health Strategy? Have you heard of it? So it amazes me how a lot of people haven't heard much about what Dubai is doing in terms of healthcare. So just give me a second. Okay, you know what? I'll pass the microphone and I want you, each one, while I fix my Sheila, I want you to tell me what you guys think about the healthcare system nowadays. I just need 2 answers. Anyone?
I'll just take the mic to help you. Thank you.
I find it very bureaucratic.
Bureaucratic.
Yeah.
Super. Yes, it is. Any other answer?
I think the management system for doctors, it doesn't, like doctors can be amazing, but then the management of the healthcare, it's not fitting.
It's not fitting.
Yeah.
Super. I agree. Any other answer? Real voice, perhaps. Right, no worries. Okay, so the Organizational Transformation Office is like a project management sort of office. And what we're doing right now is we are changing the mindset. What we're doing right now is transitioning Dubai from a bureaucratic, from a position-based sort of system into a more system that is tailored to individuals. So we set up more than 15 programs and more than 100 initiatives. The first program is into the care innovation model. And here I'm going to transition to something else. In June, Dr. Mohammed came and he approached me and he was like, Ali, you know what? We've received this letter. And this letter states about the Dubai Future Accelerators, and we need a future team to be set. And I was like, yeah, great. And who's going to be with me? He's like, you're going to lead it. Me? I'm going to lead it? I'm a neurosurgeon. I'm a junior doctor. What would I know about leading the Dubai Health Authority's team, future team? And he was like, you know, Aliyah, I'm sure you'll handle it well. And so in September, together with 6 other entities, with the Dubai municipality, with the Dubai police, with the Knowledge Authority, with DIWA, with Dubai Holding, and with RTA, each of the entities sat with several companies. Now, I'll tell you more about the Dubai Future Accelerators. Have you heard about it? Okay, great. At least you've heard about something. So this program, not you know that, it's about the audience. So what this program is basically a 12-week program in which companies participate with governmental entities to come about an innovation in that field of the entity. So the 5 companies that we selected were the first company that we selected was in the field of 3D printing. And 3D printing is also called additive manufacturing. You've seen the first 3D printed office, right? Right in front of the Emirates Towers. So now Dubai aims to become a leading capital when it comes to 3D printing in 3 main areas: in construction, in retail, and in medicine. And now what we're doing is that we're revolutionizing everything. The casts, how many of you fell down? How many of you broke a hand or a leg or whatever? Many, right? Amna? Sah. You did, right? And you remember those casts, they were heavy. You remember, right? They were heavy, you couldn't go to the shower with them, and they used to be such a hassle. Nowadays, the casts have transformed. Have you know, like Spider-Man sort of webs and everything? That's the cast. And you can actually, you know, shower with it. It has up to 40% more efficacy, and you get to heal even more faster than the regular casts. And that's just one area where 3D printing is focused on. The second company we're dealing with has to do with cancer therapy and genomics. We're talking about precision medicine. We're talking that medicine, when you give a medicine to a person, doesn't necessarily mean that it would be tailored to other person. So we know that the rates of breast cancer, we know that the rates of prostate cancer, with lung cancer, are escalating, and they're becoming quite high. So what to do is, we need to come about an approach, a genomics-tailed approach, to target each and every individual's own mutations. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. Let's say a person has 3 mutations in his DNA, and you give him whatever medication that is based on evidence, but you don't know if it's going to work on this person or not. What happens with precision medicine, when you provide the person with certain medications, you know for sure that all the mutations that the person has will be tackled. And that's the second area that we're working on. The third area that we're working on, and we're almost there are only 5. The third area is to do with smart homes. How many of you here are asthmatic? Great. So, okay. So people who have asthma, sometimes in the environment gets polluted by certain, pollens or whatever. So what happens is that the home gets to filter itself. And not just that, even offer you certain medications for any future exacerbation. You can actually use telemedicine as well to contact your physician instead of getting stuck in traffic and waiting in the, waiting rooms and everything. That's amazing. The fourth company has to do with Alzheimer. Now, the rates or the statistics here in the UAE are not really accurate because we didn't conduct yet studies about Alzheimer, but we know for sure that Alzheimer is on increasing sort of rate. And what they're doing is that they're targeting an area in the brain called the hippocampus, and this hippocampus is all to do with short-term sort of memory. And what they do is that radiologists currently nowadays, they use a ruler, and they use their own eyesight to diagnose and see how big or small the hippocampus is. So this is another company that we're dealing with. And the 5th company, which is the last and the best, is called the Happiness Watch. Have you heard about a watch that deals with happiness? Okay, so this watch, no, that's not this watch. There's another watch. It's coming very soon. So what happens is that most of the watches that we wear, Fitbits, Apple Watches, you name it, whatever, they're tailored to measuring our movements, our sleep, and that's about it. But this watch is a very objective, it's an objective watch that has certain sensors, biometrics, that knows for sure what is the person's mood during the day. And not just that, even measure your trends. Let's say, for example, I got very stressed out standing in front of the crowd today, and because I got very stressed out, I had to go and junk on certain, junk food. So this watch has a behavioral coach, and he goes like, Aliyah, since that day you've gained like 2 kilos and it's been 2 weeks, so I would recommend you going to a coach, and I've booked a coach for you. What would you like, a female, a male? Do you want it to be, more focused on weightlifting, or do you want it to be focused on cardio, right, Amna? Weightlifting all the way. So these are just a few of the things that we're working on. And I wanna finish this by saying one thing, is that it doesn't matter what field you're in. If you're in neurosurgery, if you're in media, if you're in engineering, it doesn't matter. If you have a passion, I'm saying break silos. I'm saying try new things. I'm saying don't listen to whatever people have to say. You do not know when you can mix things with certain others. Just one more thing, that art and medicine can be mixed. Do you know that food and medicine can be mixed? Do you know horses and medicine can be mixed? So many techniques, so many innovations, so many interesting stuff can happen if we just don't limit our minds. Every one of us is capable in achieving and doing something. Don't listen to those who tried and couldn't. Maybe you can. Thank you very much.